Alright, welcome to part 2 of rating the monsters of Monster Hunter World. If you haven't seen part 1, I recommend going back and doing so. Otherwise, the only thing you need to know about this is that we're basically doing an opinion piece and rating all of the monsters from the game on a scale of 1 to 10. First up for part 2, we have the Rathalos, who I kind of already covered when we went over Rathian earlier, back here. Rathalos, like the Rathian, is kind of the poster monster of the series. I personally find Rathalos a little bit more intimidating than Rathian, just a little bit more raw attack power and potential. But I kind of give them basically the same rating, which I want to say I gave Rathian a 6. I honestly can't remember, maybe a 7. I would probably say a 7 just because of their status within the series of being like this iconic, very iconic poster monster to this, like the face of the series basically. So let's say a 7 on Rathalos. And then moving ahead, you have Diablos, who, wow, this is a monster. This is a crazy, hard-hitting, gut-check monster. Diablos is, especially if you're unprepared, Diablos will make you have a very, very bad day. Nothing about this monster is weak in any way. For the more experienced hunter, you kind of know how to handle Diablos, but Monster Hunter World was my first game in the series. I have played more since, but Diablos is such a pain in the butt, and not in a bad way. It's challenging, but it's fun. It makes you want to get better at the game. It's well designed. It looks cool. A 7 out of 10, easy. Almost an 8, but I kind of refrain from 8 and up is my top tiers, and I don't think I'd quite put Diablos that high. So a 7 point, if I was doing points, a 7 point something, but definitely a solid 7 out of 10. And here's Kirin, the first official Elder Dragon that you get to hunt in the game. I'm not really sure how Kirin, who is like this unicorn who has electricity everywhere, it counts as an Elder Dragon, but that's what it is. And Kirin was kind of always told to me before I had fought it that it was one of the biggest pains in the butts to fight in the game, and I guess I can kind of see it. But when you're a hunter and you talk to the larger community of hunters, you realize that there are some monsters that challenge others that you don't feel personally challenged by, while there's some monsters that challenge you that others think are really easy. And for me, Kirin is one of those monsters who everyone likes to hype up as this really difficult and annoying fight, while I kind of find it's definitely got difficulty to it, but it's also just kind of another one of the monsters. But I really do like Kirin a lot. It is appropriately difficult. It's fast, it's got good attacks, it's a freaking thunder unicorn. I gotta give it's gonna be my first 8 out of 10, I think. And behold the mighty Zorah Magdaros. Honestly, I don't think there was a bigger ball dropped than at least with the Elder Dragons, than with Zorah Magdaros, and that's partly because they never really made, all of the other Elder Dragons have some kind of harder version of them for the most part, but Zorah is kind of this one and done deal. It does kick off the story of Monster Hunter World in the beginning, and the spectacle of the fight with it is like it's ginormous. It's freaking Godzilla made into a monster. But unfortunately, you know, it's kind of just too easy. There's nothing really. It's probably just the weakest, most tame, easiest fight in terms of Elder Dragons. I don't know. I wanna, you know, say because it's so huge and massive and cool looking that it deserves a good rating. But unfortunately, I just feel like they really didn't do enough with Zora, and it's gonna probably be a 5. I want to say that if I was generous, I'd give it a 6. But even being generous, a 6 isn't even that good, you know? So let's just stick them with 5 out of 10. Next couple I'm going to go over real quick because Dodogama, pretty forgettable to me. I'm honestly just going to give him a 4 out of 10. And that's that. Pink Rathian, again, kind of not really all that. Like, it's definitely stronger than regular Rathian, but nothing stands out enough to me to really give it more of a rating. So, you know, we'll stick it with the old 7 out of 10 that we gave regular Rathian. And Bazelgeuse, or the B-52 bomber, if you will. One of my favorites, honestly. When I first encountered it, Bazelgeuse is the one that kind of introduces you to high rank difficulty, and when you first encounter it, you're like, oh my god, this guy is such a butt. But he ended up helping me so much on my hunts, and I loved his mechanic and his sound effects and like everything about him. Like, he's good. I like him. He's one of my apps, probably in my top 5, if not top 5, then probably at least top 10. I'm gonna give him an 8 out of 10. Starting up the next tier, we have Deviljho, or Pickle. I remember when Deviljho first came to the game, and me not having played any of the other Monster Hunters had no idea about this guy, but the other people that I played with who had, you know, warned me how difficult he was, and like he was just like a terror. And I, you know, honestly, I thought he was overhyped. He looks cool, he's got cool attacks. I love when he eats his own tail, like, and when he gives the suplex to other monsters and stuff. Like, that's cool. So I don't find him bad. I actually find him really pretty good, but I don't find him special. So 7 out of 10 for me. Lavasiath, the fire tadpole, basically. He's kind of interesting in like the way he dives into the lava and stuff, but not really that fun, not really memorable, nothing really to hype up the game about. Give him a 5 out of 10. And here's Uragaan, who I'm honestly gonna judge on his master rank Guiding Lands appearance in terms of difficulty, and in that he is an absolute nightmare. Like, this guy can really just lay it on you pretty hard. His attack pattern is pretty wild. He can come at you just on a snap, basically. He's got a really good design. He looks a lot like Radaban in terms of anatomy. I think they might actually use the same model, except for Radaban has the spikes, obviously, where Uragaan has the gold studs and plating. I want to give Uragaan a good rating because his armor is pretty useful. I appreciate difficulty in a fight, and Uragaan can really bring that to you without being like, he feels very fair about it in an unfair kind of way. I wouldn't call him like my top choice by any means, but I think he's definitely a 7, pushing an 8, but we'll go with 7 out of 10. Then we've got Azure Rathalos, who I think he's like a significant step up over regular Rathalos. He looks cool. He's got like a lot more firepower with his breath attacks, but I don't think he really stands out enough over regular Rathalos. Like you can tell, like he's beefier, he's mightier, he's got more damage, but he doesn't quite break that limit, you know. So definitely another 7 out of 10 for me. Now we've got Black Diablos, and holy shit, I absolutely hate this monster, but in a good way, because it's like, man, she is like just so damaging and so aggressive. Like before Iceborne came out, I would farm her a lot just because I wanted the switch axe. The Black Diablo switch axe, and like, but it was so tough to fight her, especially because, you know, she usually came with another regular Diablos attached, so you know, it was double trouble. But you know, I'm gonna say a lot of good things about her. She was, you know, I appreciate difficulty, and she's an absolute nightmare, but I love her for being that nightmare, so we'll give her an 8 out of 10. Now we've got Nergigante, who basically drives a lot of the story in Monster Hunter World, and Iceborne, sort of. It's a different variant of Nergigante, but, you know, it's a monster that is very important throughout the entire storyline, and the lore behind Nergigante, in the respect that it is an elder dragon who eats other elder dragons to gain power. That's really cool. Unfortunately, I don't think it ever reflects in the gameplay and the mechanics of the hunt itself. I feel like Nergigante is honestly one of the easiest dragons in the game. Like, nothing really. It looks cool, like the spikes, the mechanics, or the attack animations, attack patterns are kind of interesting, but honestly, it's just too easy. It like the story and lore that are written into the monster just don't come out during the fights, and I wish that weren't the case. But it's not bad. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And lastly, for this video, we have the Elder Dragon Testra, who is pretty cool. It's like this lion-headed fire dragon. It's pretty challenging. Like, if you don't have the right resistance level, it can definitely just kill you instantly. It's a good fight. I don't have anything particular to say about it. I'm gonna give it a 7 just because, you know, it's pretty good, but it doesn't go beyond pretty good for me. So 7 out of 10. And at around 15 minutes in length, that's going to wrap up part 2. Part 3 will be coming soon. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you.